Just a heads up, there's going to be spoilers ahead. Also, this is my first time making a video like this, so I'm assuming you'll either hate it or find enjoyment in how bad it is. Or maybe, by some miracle, you'll actually like it. Anyway, we begin about 2-3 years ago when I wanted to play Assassin's Creed, so as one does, I opened the store, searched Assassin's Creed, and after a bit of scrolling, this image blessed my eyeballs of a guy holding a cutlass and holstering a bunch of pistols. And being as obsessed with pirates as I am, I didn't waste a second in thinking about buying it. So, bought it, waited for the install, hate that part. Then I opened it for the first time, and what followed was years of me replaying that same game. But why? Well, that's why you clicked on the video, is it not? After opening the game, it gives a great first impression with this title screen. Which is just awesome, and I never leave the game on quick resume because of it. Then, of course, I started a new save, and bloody hell, Hudson, it took you a minute just to start the fucking game. Anyway, the game, however, does not waste a second and just throws you straight into a cutscene that is the middle of a naval battle, and this immediately makes you ask questions of how you got here and why you're here. And overall, this scene just looks stunning and immediately sets the tone of the game perfectly by giving an immediate representation of the brutal nature of this world. Anyway, after the protagonist stumbles around a bit, he starts walking to the edge of the deck, and then we get a nice little zoom in of the opposing ship. And there's a silhouette of a man. I see a little silhouette of a man. Shut up, you can't sing. And he's wearing a unique outfit with a hood. And this confused me on my first playthrough because I thought, wait, aren't we meant to be the assassin? But don't worry, I'll get there. I just have to yap a lot first, so I apologise for your ears and your sanity. Anyway, then the game gives you a nice little naval tutorial where you get to test the waters, literally. And then another cutscene plays where the assassin guy jumps on your ship and he whips it out. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not like that. He flicks his hidden blade out. Then he kills a man and seems to have the intent of killing you. But before he gets the chance, a gunpowder keg kind of goes boom boom, and then they fly off the ship and shit. And then the game just jumps into a flashback where we get to see the main character, Edward, and his wife, and we learn a bit more about his motivation. That being pretty much, I want money. I want a lot of money. I want a good life. And his wife's like, no, you shouldn't. And he's like, but like, I want a good life. And then she's like, well, come back to me in 2 years. And he's like, yeah, I will. Spoilers, he doesn't. Then we jump back to the present, and Mr. Edward and the assassin guy are washed up on a beach together, and the assassin's basically like, yo, Wagwan, can you bring me to Havana? I'll pay you and shit. And Edward's like, I don't have a fucking ship, you moron. And then Edward likes the sound of that money, but first he's got to check that rum bottle next to him, because, pirate. And I found this highly amusing for some reason. Anyway, I like the little detail that in the flashback he didn't have any tattoos, but here he has loads of tattoos, and I don't know, I just found that cool. Anyway, he goes up to him and he's like, "Yo, give me that money," and then he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna fucking shoot you," but he's got wet gunpowder and stuff, so he kind of doesn't shoot him, and he just throws the gun away, and it makes him look like a bit of a moron, and yeah, haha. Anyway, then of course Edward is tasked with chasing him because, like any other game, bad guy. I want to chase him and kill him and stuff. So yeah, that's what Edward does. And you get introduced to my favourite mechanic of the game, which is parkour, which I think can be said for a lot of people who like Assassin's Creed, especially the older games. And it's not anything too crazy here. You're kind of just jumping from trees and like the little ledges in the jungle, but like it's still fun. It's good. I like it. I don't know why I went really high pitched then, but yeah, anyway. Then once you catch up to him, despite the fact he threw the gun away before, he somehow has another gun, which I'm still confused on whether he pulled it out of thin air or his arse, but you know, whatever. Then you finally catch up to this absolute loser, and you somehow kill him pretty easily, despite the fact that he's a master assassin and you're just like a random pirate, but you know, whatever, just don't ask questions. Then Edward finds a letter that's pretty much saying that, oh, I'm an assassin, but like, I don't want to be an assassin, I want to be a Templar, and the Templars are going to like pay me loads of money and stuff, and I need to go Havana. And then Edward's like, oh, I could do that, I want money, you know, that's what I told my wife. So yeah, he decides to do a bit of roleplay here, and he just steals Duncan's outfit, which is surprisingly better roleplay than the RPG games. But you know, let's ignore that. Then after a bit of a wandering around, Edward spots a ship right off the coast, and he's like, I might have that, you know. But there's like a bunch of guards, and you like can take them out stealthily. Because it's meant to be like a stealth tutorial, but here I messed it up because I was being impatient. So you know, you get to watch me just kill them instead. Because yeah, although I do like that the game gives you the option, like you can just kill them if you want, which is pretty cool, you know. Then Edward meets the guy that, funnily enough, the guards were guarding, and his name is Steed, and it's actually Master Assassin did a video comparing him and the real life Steed, and I highly recommend that. Anyway, basically, Edward's like, yo, I want to go Havana, and Steve's like, yo, I'm going Havana. And also, Steve's a bit of a dumbass, because he, like, said, thought you were a pirate at first, and then Edward just kind of brushed it off and was like, But, like, Edward is very obviously a pirate. I mean, like, look at the guy. He doesn't exactly, you know, although I suppose, like, Duncan would have been in the same state, so I guess it's not like that ridiculous, but yeah. I'm gonna shut up. Yeah, and then the mission just ends with basically a tutorial on how to steer the ship. You and Steed sailing to Havana. And overall, I think the start of the game is amazing, because introduces the main character. It basically explains the entirety of all the gameplay. You know, you got parkour, stealth, naval, combat, all in the intro. And this is just the first mission. I think it's great. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this, because I was going to try and do the whole game in one video, but I realised how long that'll be. So I'm probably going to do them in sections, and then I'll make one big video, if people actually care to watch it, because otherwise it'll just be a waste of time. So, you know. But yeah, hope you found some enjoyment in this again. Yeah. It was actually a lot of fun to make. I've never done something like this. I'll definitely do more of this. Yeah, and anyway, hope you have a good day. And yeah, goodbye.
You're a natural sailor, Duncan.
I did a decent trick at the helm some time ago. 2 years before the mast as a privateer.
Dash my buttons. Your life seems a grand one, if I may say. So full of adventure. How marvelous.
I've seen my share of strangeness, aye.